Hello and welcome to another episode of the Meta Call. This is Smitty from 60cards.com. I have a new brew. It's a dagger for the meta. Basically, like if you're planning on a Star City Games event, particularly like a larger event, or even actually FNMs, I kind of have most of the matchups figured out. But this is the deck that everyone loves to hate, or hates to love. But anyways, it's a mill deck, modeled kind of after Caw Blade. It ended up starting like with some off the wall ideas, like trying to be super aggressive, but then it would just like auto fold the red deck wins and tempered steel. But we've fixed all those, and the deck is actually very viable now. It can win with damage if you ever run into an Eldrazi, but it's just a risk that's worth running right now, because I mean the odds are you're not going to see an Eldrazi in FNM or any large tournament. The deck does have answers for ley lines and O-ring now. So it's basically a blue-white deck with an awkward mana base. It's pretty interesting, but it's extremely powerful against Caw Blade, as well as Twin, Pyro Ascension. Valakut is like auto-win. So many of these decks, any type of control deck is just really strong against aggro decks. Now with timely reinforcements, it's actually pretty relevant too. So anyways, you can see the list on 60cards.com, so check it out. Enough babbling. This is going to be a quick little video. This is not against any type of tier 1 deck. Magic Online will not save any of my freaking games. It drives me nuts. Maybe I'll try to get a live one up today as well though. But so what we got, by the way, the addition of Visions of Beyond like over Caw Blade is like so much more powerful than preordained. I mean, some hands you can Ancestral Recall turn 1, 2, or 3 based on like archive traps and head-drawn crabs early. I knew what I was playing against here. I believe this is post sideboard. This is like a white-blue aggro control type deal. It was pretty decent. He won game 1, I think I won game 2, and this might be game 3, and it actually ended up being pretty close, and I'm not sure if I played it right, but we have all the control elements in this deck. The thing is, right now with this hand though, is like there's no real gas. We're just kind of playing a control game, and that's the thing. The deck can play the control game. It can also just play the aggro game. I mean, I've won on turn 4 plenty of times with this brew. Which, Caw Blade, it's not a deck that can do that. So we definitely have that advantage over Caw Blade while playing similar cards, but having like an upgrade in Visions of Beyond. We get Sword of Body and Mind, which to us is far better. Well, not necessarily far better. It's different than Feast and Famine, but it gets us to our goal, as well as creates board presence and, can be a alternate win condition on itself with Hawks and Soldiers. Now, I'd like to fit Inkmoth Nexus, but the mana is really awkward because we don't run dual lands, because we need to run 13 or so fetch lands for Head-Drawn Crab, because that's one of our main sources of mill. Head-Drawn Crab's awesome. I originally had Spellskite over Squadron Hawk's spot, but Squadron Hawks have been so good against like everything, and then that allowed me to put in Sword of Body and Minds, which was just another way to mill aggressively. So we're pretty far ahead here because he doesn't have the evasion, which his type of decks lack. I didn't know if he was running Brave the Elements or not, but so we can't get any mill in, but we don't really have a need to use Visions of Beyond right now. But sometimes I do just cantrip it because you do need certain cards, but I just didn't need anything in particular. I had all the answers I needed, and I wasn't going to throw Jason because I knew he had. I wasn't going to throw Jace into the blue mana that was up because he could have had Spell Pierce, and I know he was using them prior games, so there was no purpose in that. Now, Hero Bladehold's actually interesting because it is kind of a tough card to beat. We don't main deck especially because we don't have, we have a couple O-rings main and a day, but I mean they create so much board presence that it's really kind of tough to beat unless you're just racing them. But we're actually okay here. And honestly, I probably got impatient with this day. I definitely don't think that was the right play. But I mean, what are you gonna do? So he's at 26 cards, as you can see. We're slowly just kind of like keeping control of the board. We've got quite a bit of cards here because we were able to use that Visions of Beyond, which, as you can see now, we have a full hand. They got 2 cards. Even though Hero Blade Hold is probably his best play right there, we can still buy time, and we can still kill his Hero Blade Hold with the timely reinforcements and Sword of Body. Plus, like, look, we're probably going to win the damage race even. But we just want to get rid of those heroes. And stick some mill. So he had the mana leak, that's fine. That was a mistake. I could have played a land and paid for the leak and just totally sat back and milled him out, but whatever. Multiple misplays. The deck's just doing so many more powerful things than your opponent that it like, you actually have room to misplay, because I mean, the deck's built for the meta and it just feels so far ahead. It's ridiculous. So even late Hedron Crabs are always worth a good 3 to 6 cards out of the library while creating board presence, and it's a body that can attack with Sword of Body in mind. And at this point, I mean, I don't know what he could have played, but I'm pretty sure it's dang near concede at this point. We just equip up. He can't attack us with the soldier. So, you know, he's got a couple big guys. That's fine. That's actually not, those aren't bad plays, but we draw another Sword of Body and we just get our beats on. He's going to have to block, and that just ends up doing him in. And that, well, we get him down. We could have got him down to 1 card, but we do get him here either way. So this is like Caw Mill. I call it All60. And don't forget to do the mill dance when you mill some motherfuckers. You just shuffle out your cards, flip them up, and go BAM! And you just shove it in their face because you just ultra griefed them by milling them out. So thanks for watching.